Just stop before you plant another acre of maize. Just watch this. Most farmers think maize farming is profitable. But what if I told you that many farmers are losing their money? Well, here's a shocking truth. Many farmers invest much money as of 54,450 Kenyan shillings with the hope of making massive profits. But what really happens at the end? They only make less than 5,000 shillings per acre or less than 700 shillings per bag. Why? There is the hidden cost, poor fertilizer quality, weather, and all these factors that contribute to losses in maize farming. So today we break it all down so that you don't get trapped in the loss-making business. Stay tuned till the end, and if you not manage to subscribe, kindly do so. This is the only way that you can help us reach as many farmers as possible. Our commitment to you, quality farming guide with realistic solution. Let's get into it. Stick to the end so that you know whether your farm is actually making some profit or is just making losses. Most farmers assume that the more you harvest, the richer you become, but that's completely wrong. Even a farmer harvesting 20 bags can barely break even, and here is why. We are giving you 4 scenarios on this cost breakdown, and so that you can manage to establish where your farm lies and the exact amount that you can make or you should make, or even the risk of losing money if at all you are thinking of investing in this farming. The first case scenario is whereby a farmer has his own land and also buys the fertilizer from the agrovet. He doesn't rely on the government subsidized fertilizer. Number 1, land preparation at 7,500 shillings, planting at 2,500 shillings, 10 kg of seeds at 1,950 shillings, fertilizer, that is planting fertilizer and progressing, at 22,600 shillings, weeding and pesticide at 10,000 shillings, harvesting and post-harvest cost at 8,000 shillings, and also other cost at 2,000 shillings. This gives a total cost of 54,550 per acre. Revenue: if this farmer tends to produce 20 bags per acre and sells at the government rate of 3,500 shillings, then this farmer makes an average revenue of 70,000 shillings. Well, what is the profit? If you less now the cost from the revenue, you get a profit of 15,450 shillings, or equivalent of 773 shillings per bag. Is it profitable? Yes, it's profitable, but the profit here are quite thin. Let's look at the second case scenario where the farmer is now renting land and tends to buy fertilizer from the agrovet. Now, the other costs remain, but he has an extra cost of leasing land at 10,000 shillings. This gives a new cost of 64,550 shillings per acre. If you less this now from the revenue that she gets, given that she harvested 20 bags and sold at 7,000 shillings, then he has a profit of 5,415 shillings, or an equivalent of 273 shillings per bag. Well, at this case, farming on rented land seems not to be that much profitable. Let's look on the third scenario where you have now rented land, but this time you use subsidized fertilizer. Now, the new fertilizer cost is now quite less to 10,000 shillings for the 4 bags, given that you're buying each bag at 2,500 shillings. This gives a new total cost of 56,850 shillings. Now, if you look at this, you'll know that it's kind of higher with almost 2,300 shillings. This also tends to lower the profit by the similar amount to 13,150 shillings, or an equivalent of 650 shillings per bag. Well, it seems better than the previous one, but quite risky. Subsidized fertilizer is sometimes low quality and can make you have a reduced yield. Now, let's look on the fourth scenario. You own your land and you also tend to use the subsidized fertilizer. Now, on this case, you have a new total cost of 42,215,000. Here, the cost is raised by almost 12,300,000. Why? Because you've reduced the cost of fertilizer you've bought by the perceived price of 2,500 that the government says it will sell to farmers. Now, the profit also tends to be higher by almost similar amount to 27,750 per acre. Now, this is almost equivalent to 1,388 shillings per bag. Out of the 4 scenarios, this one looks the most considerate and the most profitable, but only if the subsidized fertilizer is of high quality. Otherwise, if there is questions on the quality of the fertilizer, this yield may not be guaranteed. However, there are also other 4 risks that can destroy your maize farm completely. And number 1 on top is unpredictable rainfall. Often due to weather changes and climatic changes, we've seen a change in rainfall patterns where we experience uneven rainfall or poorly distributed rainfall or long months of drought. And this case, harvest and the also yield is not guaranteed, and this one can tend to high loss. The second one is poor quality subsidized fertilizer. In long run, subsequent application of poor quality fertilizer tends to lower the soil quality and also tends to lower the nutrition balance in the soil. In the result, we have a continuous gradual decline in yield. And in the long term is that farmers who use this poor quality yield, they will reach a point, if they don't reclaim this land using good quality fertilizer and manure, a point whereby their land just produces poor yields. Now, the third one is falling maize prices. Sometimes the government may buy at 4,000 shillings per bag, sometimes they may buy at 3,500 shillings per bag, or also even 2,500 shillings per bag. Now, this one depends on how lucky you are as a farmer. At times, if you get low prices below 2,500 shillings, this is loss making. Actually, any price below 2,800 shillings per bag is loss to the farmer. Yes, so the government has to uptake this maize by at least 3,000 and above for the farmers to break even and also make some good profit. Now, the other one is pests and diseases, and especially for armyworm and also the migratory pests such as locusts. If the farm is highly infested by these pests, making losses is inevitable because it's hard to control some of these, especially locusts, and you end up making losses. Even in fall armyworm, unless farmer now implements a very good measure to spray this pesticide and chemicals very early preventively, otherwise he may find himself losing all the yield and all the crop. But if well prevention and well control is done, ultimately the farmer will manage to have good yield. Now, to the final question, is maize farming in Kenya really profitable? Well, there are 2 case scenarios from out of the 4. The best case scenario is where now the farmer has his own land and uses the subsidized fertilizer, where he makes a profit of 27,750 shillings per acre. And this one ultimately explains why most of farmers queue for many days waiting for this subsidized fertilizer at the serious board depots. Yes, because they know this is the only way they can manage to break even, and especially farmers with large acres of land. Worst case scenario is whereby you've rented land and you also tend to buy your own fertilizer. Remember, these fertilizers are almost 3 times the prices of subsidized fertilizer. And if now you factor in the cost of renting land, you will make a very, very low profit of around 5,450 shillings. Ultimately, farmers with large-scale farms, they make super big profits, but farmers with small farms tend to make a low profit. But if now you want to stop losing money in your farm, kindly make sure that you've also subscribed to this YouTube channel. Then the other thing, if you have any question, make sure that you drop it. Let us know, are you making any profit or loss in your maize farming? Drop in the comment, are you making any profit or loss in your maize farming? And if you're making profit, tell us, share with us, how are you making those profits? If you're making losses, tell us how has been your farming so that we can manage to help you make some good profits. Let me see you in the next video, where we look at the best maize variety to grow in Kenya.